What's up, everybody? Welcome to Above the Sky, Season 4, Episode 9. My name is Leon Sky. I have a really dope special guest with me. She is a singer, she is a songwriter, she is also a vocalist teacher, which is pretty dope. Actually, I know she's currently working on an EP, a project, I believe, as well, right?
Yes,
Awesome,
yes.
awesome. And basically, she's just a roundabout artist. And she takes her work very seriously. I have worked with her. I'm currently still working with her, and
Yep.
her vocals is top notch. It's amazing. I'm not going to compare her to anybody just because she is her own artist. She is her own person. But when
Wow.
she does have her own music release, definitely check it out. Um, but with that being said, she is a full definition of an artist, and I think that is a good enough for my side for her little brief introduction. But I'm gonna have her to introduce herself, and then I ask her the 10 interview questions, and then we'll get
Yeah.
started.
I think you did a great job. I think
Thank
you
you.
nailed everything. I say, I
Thank
go
you.
by Lan. That's like kind of, so when you do have my music out, it'll be LAN the Gemini. That's how you kind of search for in the search
Mm,
bar of whatever your streaming device will be.
LAN the
Um,
Gemini.
yeah, that's me. Yeah, but I'm, like you said, a teacher. Been teaching for years. Um, that has been like an interesting part of like my growth as an artist. So I'm a teacher first, I would say. Musician, play some instruments, vocalist. Um, yeah, just artist, like you said.
Sweet, sweet.
And all I enjoy working with you too. It's
Oh
been fun.
well.
See you
All
Sunday.
right. Well, likewise, likewise.
Yeah.
Um, First off, this is not part of the questions, but just because I mean, I think I already know the answer to it because but how did you come up with that name, Lon the
Oh,
Gemini? I mean, I
well,
think
it's a good question. You were there when I like solidified because I have been going back and forth with so many things. Like I was like, is it
yeah.
Lonnie? Like, because when I introduced, first of all, my name is Milani. My name is um Milani. You know, the L is capitalized. I don't know. That's how you say it. It's Milani. Um, but when I introduced myself recently, when I introduce myself to people, I just say Lonnie, like, oh hi, I'm
Yeah.
Lonnie, because it's easier. It's like my name is Milani is a lot. I don't know. So I
Hmm.
always just say Lonnie. So I'm like, okay. In thinking of like an artist name, I'm like, what's it gonna be? Is it gonna be Lonnie? Is it gonna be Lon? I liked Lon because like I don't know, I like the three
Nah,
letters. It's
Lon's
short,
dope,
it's sweet.
you know.
Um, so I'm like, Lon, that's it. And then I was just like thinking about like my music and myself and astrology is something that's important to me. And also I'm a Gemini Sun, Mercury, and Mars. So it's like
Yeah.
Gemini is like it's me and and also it's just like says a lot for what my music is gonna sound like and what my art looks like and what everything kind of is. It's just like there's always two sides. There's always something changing. It's airy. It's fun. And so LAN the Gemini just like had to be it, I think.
Nah, it suits you.
Yeah.
It definitely suits you.
Thank you.
Nah,
Yeah.
I like the name a lot.
Thank you.
It just it roundabouts the way who you are as a person, obviously, but like you said,
Yeah.
it is your music. So yeah, definitely don't change the name, please.
I will.
Question number one: how did you get into making music?
I think that definitely started in college. Like I have been doing music for a long, long time.
Yeah,
But college, I was surrounded. It was the time in my life where I was surrounded by musicians who were doing the same things as me,
yeah,
and so it has always been the goal. Like it's always been an intention. It has been set. Like it has been something that I have been working towards since I was little. I remember having conversations with my grandpa about what I wanted to do and what I was gonna do and what I was gonna be when I grew up, and I was like, I'm gonna have an album and it doesn't matter to me who listens. Like me at little 13 years old, I'm like, it doesn't matter if only one person likes it as long as I like it and it's out in the world. Like,
yeah.
so, and then it was going to be teaching. Like, I was going to be a teacher. So I'm a stick to the plan kind of girl, went to school, but it's always been the motive, right? So, like, it's the reason why I went to school out here. It's the reason why I live here. It's the reason why, like I'm where I am right now is the intention has always been to create music and put it out. Um, so yeah, I guess I really started in college. Like I said, like I went to a music school, so it was really easy to find people that had the same ideas and
Yeah.
goals and drive as me. And so
Yeah.
the first kind of, I was really looking for a group. Like, I'm a person who really like benefits from the ideas of community. I really thrive in community. I like, working with people and kind of like, matching energy and shifting energy and that creative energy of just like being in a music class and just like vibing together and singing or playing an instrument or just like creating that kind of open atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
Like, really was like, I was like, oh, I'm going to do this for sure. And like, as long as the vibe feels like I'm just like creating with like my homies, and it's gonna be exactly the vibe that I want to
Yeah.
put in an album, put in an EP, put in a project. So I just looked for that, and any avenue or opportunity I had to just be making music with friends and people who like knew more than me, I was doing that.
Right.
Um, and then there was a couple of sticky situations where you know how it is when you're working with like people and you know they don't share the same beliefs as you maybe, or um like one person is the leader as opposed to everyone kind of being like equal and respected, and
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
there was a couple of situations where I was like, oh, I really do have to do this myself. Like, I came in with the intention of learning and just like soaking it up and being in there and just like offering what I had to offer. And it like wasn't the comfiest of scenarios. So I was like, okay, I can do this myself. And then so I started, I bought Logic actually in quarantine. I was just like, I have time. I can become obsessed with this new thing. I can grow my skills. And I was writing the most I ever wrote in quarantine. Like, I just there was it's aligned with my like spiritual journey, and all the things kind of started when I had the space to like when I could back off and meditate and control my whole schedule without like fear of anything. I would just like I knew where my house was stable. I was by myself, like completely kind of shut off in this shelter. So I created the day that I always wanted to have, like the schedule that I always wanted to have, and that included music every day. And
Mm-hmm.
so that's how I taught myself Logic, right? And yeah, then I just like, more opportunities started coming as they do. Like, once you
Yeah.
kind of hone in on what you're doing and understand what you're doing, then the people come to you. You came out here. Wes, who I just like met in a job, who is the engineer that I mentioned earlier, he makes music too, wanted to do it, gave him my guitar. We just jammed, and that set me. And then I met Cam, who is my student, who is an artist, who is brilliant, and we jam and we make music. And so it's all just kind of, you know, come together in a way that I think really started in quarantine, really started with the intentions of just feeling comfortable and feeling free and open in a space. And yeah, that's how I
So,
started making music.
no, that's the perfect way to answer that question. That's dope because basically like you just had like a whole roundabout, what's the word for it? Like testimony, I guess, of how you
Hmm.
started to where you're at right now. A
Yeah.
whole origin story to where you were surrounded basically with all different type of creatives in college. Um,
Hmm.
and even like you were just always around it, so like it inspired you and it triggered a certain type of
Hmm.
inspiration within yourself, to like express yourself in a different type of way when it comes to making music and when it comes to just being a writer, a creator in general. Because
Hmm.
it makes you into just not just a better musician but a better human being to a certain
Person,
extent as
right.
well. So
Hmm.
it's just like it, and I feel you 100% because when you are surrounded in that environment with like talented people, but also like really nice talented people as well,
Yeah. Yeah.
the vibrations are always lifted, and it's always like so
Hmm.
like it's a feel good kind of thing to be around because it motivates,
Yeah.
not only motivates you, it just makes you feel good in the heart, and that's
Yes.
important, so
Hmm.
like it's always good to always try to keep that company around you as much as you can as possible, and to always
Correct.
like have it grow on, years on, throughout the road. But it's cool, so it's just like and it's leading to where we at right now, to
Right.
lead into
Right.
like
Right. Right.
where you have in store and to like where you're gonna have in store in the future, so it's
Yes.
I'm excited for your whole journey, honestly.
Me
So
too. Thank you. And I'm happy to have you be a part of it for sure.
nah, I'm happy to be a part of it as well. Thank you. So question number two. So how is it like being a vocal teacher, and how did you get yourself involved in that, area as well?
Right. So first off, being a music teacher is everything to me.
Yeah.
It has allowed me so far to like build relationships with people. Like it's allowing me to travel. I'm going to California in a couple of months.
Take me
Yeah, yeah. I'm like,
with
come on down. Um,
you.
yeah, no, it's a brilliant experience. It pushed me a lot. At
Yeah.
first, I thought I wasn't ready for it, but it was just like how much I cared about being the best kind of teacher. Like, it drove my life. For like the first kind of year, I would say I was just like really trying to do everything and be everything, and so
Yeah.
um, I found my rhythm for sure kind of like 6 months in. Um, and it's great. Um yeah, not only am I building relationships with people, but I'm watching people grow. I'm watching people progress. I'm watching
Yeah.
people, I get to see the light bulb moment. I get to see like when the note finally comes out because I told them to switch their mouth in a way, or because I told them to breathe a certain way, or like I'm seeing in real time like my ideas or my help kind of like change the way people not only go about performing music but understanding it, listening to it, how they go about singing it themselves and using their whole body as their instrument. So it's everything, and it's also really just brought me to my purpose because my thing has always been I want to help people, and I want to make music, and so now I'm actively doing that.
Yeah.
um, and in teaching, while teaching, I've also kind of created a whole other course, which is more based in healing,
Mm.
because I got really deep into, also in quarantine, really deep into the study of sound as an ancient medicine. And like in Western practices, there's all this beautiful, beautiful work being done with sound and with your body. And so all of that is kind of connected. So the fact that I've created my own kind of magic music course in the under the realm of just like teaching somebody how to like, prepare for an audition or just get better at karaoke. Like I'm meeting all different people from all over the place. And I like while doing that got inspired to allow people to come into themselves and get a little bit more introspective with their body as their
Mm.
instrument. And so teaching is literally everything. I imagine I'll be doing it forever. Um, there's so many beautiful benefits to teaching. And how I got into it is the same way I got into making music, to be honest. I always knew what I wanted to do. I was young. I was like, maybe in, this is actually, there's a story. When I was in fourth grade, there was a lady who like walked into my elementary school like carrying instruments, and like she went into this room
Yeah.
and she was just playing instruments with kids, and I was like, "What is this?" And she was like, "Oh, I'm the special ed music teacher. Do you want to come on your lunch break?" I was like, "Hell yeah!" And so I did that, and I was just like, went home happy as could be, and I was like, "I'm gonna do that." And like I had been playing instruments and stuff since I was in third grade, so music was not like new to me. It wasn't unfamiliar, but the experience of facilitating that moment with kids and people, watching them like learn a new instrument or just like make noise with their bodies, like I was like, that's what I'm gonna definitely be doing forever, for sure. And then so yeah, I went to college for it, got my degree, started teaching a couple months later.
Wow.
So yeah,
Wow. No, I love everything about that. No,
thank
honestly.
you.
No, it's really cool just to like being in the presence of that, like witnessing that, like seeing your students basically. So I'm trying to like kind of like feel it within your shoes for a second. So like seeing your students basically just kind of
Mm,
started. Well, it depends on how their level of vocal, kind of like their vocals are. From starting off from the beginning to like having you help them out to where they are right now. Like it's
mm-hmm.
inspiring. Like it's straight out inspiring to like just
Yeah.
to see that, to see the growth, like you said, and just to like have them like heal even in the midst of it as well,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just like it's amazing. It's honestly amazing.
Yeah.
Like it's
It is really cool.
just to be involved in that, and just to see different type of people all over the world basically, depending on how far you reach out. you come in contact with different type of individuals, and then you get to know different type of individuals, and you see their growth in their own way. And just
Mm-hmm.
being a teacher is also an amazing job as well, because it requires a lot. You know, it requires a lot of
Mm-hmm.
like skill, patience, and
Absolutely, patience is big.
yeah, and obviously knowledge as well. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and just to be able to obtain all that at the to a certain level that you can be able to reach it for is very, it's another talent itself basically. So I
Mm-hmm.
respect teachers, you know. I really do.
Thank
And
you.
it doesn't matter what you teach, like for real. Nah, honestly, I think
Mm-hmm.
teachers are mad underrated. If that makes sense. But yeah, nah, for real. Just seeing the growth within your students, and just
Yeah.
seeing, knowing that you did it, like that you basically kind of like, you didn't do it fully,
It's a
but you,
relate
you supported.
it's a relationship for sure.
Yeah,
It's so 50-50. Like,
yeah,
and that's what's something
facts.
that's also really special about teaching, and what's the most difficult is that you have to allow it to be 50-50. Like you have to create the most space for this person who is just listening to you and taking your advice, because like especially as a younger woman, like teaching all ages, all genders, some people receive information from me and some people don't, and it's
Mm,
like, and it takes for them to kind of reach like a break in what they can do on their own, or just a change in my energy to kind of make them realize that this is a dual thing. This is why,
mm,
you're taking my class. This is why
yeah,
I'm in front of you. This is why I'm here to help you, right? And
yeah,
so it's a lot of trust, but it's literally a relationship. Like it's a conversation, it's communication,
yeah,
it's an exchange of energies, all of that. So
yeah.
yeah, but I think the most like amazing thing is like when my students are like, oh, like my other singer friends, like they ask me questions and I know how to answer now. So it's like you can see like how your knowledge is passed on to one person and then passed even more on and more on and more on and more on to help like people I haven't even met yet.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like really special. Like I'm mentioning Camelot, but I'm sure he'll appreciate that. He's one of my students who I know also knows a lot of musicians, and he's helping other people just because he's taking my class. Like he knows what to do before a performance, and he knows like, how to go about interpreting music, when he also can give that gift of knowledge and that wealth of knowledge to his friends who are also performers and creators. And like when he tells me about that stuff, like it it makes me want to keep going and researching
Yeah.
more and doing things in my own body more, and finding what works for everybody, as a student, as a performer, all that. So yeah, teaching is really, it's everything to me.
So yeah, question number 3. So how would you describe your sound and your music in your own words?
mm. It's this is the hardest question so far because it's different. Like
Yeah.
it's different all the time. Like
Yeah, yeah.
we make like some, I feel like the most, like the easiest way to kind of put it in a genre is just to say it's R&B, but like
Yeah.
experimental. Like it does get weird, it does get different, it does get jazzy. Like that is the my sound is just like I said at the beginning, an amalgamation of all the things that I enjoy, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Sometimes it sounds like a Mitski song, sometimes it sounds like Ari Lennox song, sometimes it sounds like, you know what I mean? It's all these things and they're so different from each other that like, another difficulty of mine is like putting it into one thing that makes sense, right? And allowing a story to kind of unfold and come to a resolution at the end, right? So
Yeah.
it's a lot of different sounds. It's a lot of things that again are just things that made me feel something as a listener. Like in creating my sound, it's been all about like just everything that I hear that like that does something internally as I listen to it. You know what I'm talking about? Like when you hear something and something shifts inside, or like like your shoulder jives or something, or like you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
it's
definitely.
definitely heavily inspired by my experience as a listener, I would say. Um, so sorry if I didn't like nail
No,
a
I think that's
specific
perfect.
sound, but it's really, it changes a lot. Hence the name,
Yeah.
hence everything. Hence this like the fact that a lot of it comes from working with friends and just jamming and things like that. It's like it's an open kind of space for any sound that makes anybody in the room feel something or feel good
Right.
or feel whatever we're
Right.
trying to feel, whatever vibe we're trying to create. Like anything that does that and like encapsulates that, like it's on there. So
Yeah. No, that's what music is about. Just trying to feel what you hear basically, or in your
Mm-hmm.
surroundings at the moment.
How
Because
to
it
sense it, right? Yeah.
yeah, because like music, obviously music is amazing and beautiful like thing to be like hear and witness, but like when it takes you to like a whole different atmosphere
Mm-hmm.
within your own brain or like
Yeah.
anywhere really, like
In your body, right?
in your
Yeah.
body, yeah, you feel it everywhere, and you want to be able to see if you can be able to try to create from what you heard to whatever sound that you're trying to go for, really.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, like you said, your music is like it's. I don't want to say it's. I guess the best word to say is it's like all over the place when it comes to like breaking boundaries
Yeah.
of like going to this genre to the next genre to the next genre
Right.
instead of sticking to just one genre, being
Mm-hmm.
experimental, you know,
Yeah.
and not like letting a box with come around you when it comes to creating,
Absolutely.
because I
Yeah.
I feel like once you get into that box, and then once people
Hard.
are kind of used to that box, I'm not saying it's hard to break out of it because you can break out of it whenever, but like people are gonna be like you, oh man, why you're not
It's hard to be received well outside of
yeah,
the boxes that people have like become accustomed to.
because a lot
And
of
that's
people
the
are
same. Yeah.
yeah, a lot of people are just stick to the same sound too much to the point where like they don't want to hear nothing else different out of
What's the
you.
same
Yeah,
psychology as like changing as a person, right?
yeah.
Like the narrative, like you've changed, like you're different, like
Yep,
yeah, absolutely. I
we all
definitely am. Like
change.
people are just like like uncomfortable with this idea of change
Yeah,
and then real like dynamics. It's not
yeah,
the word that I want to use. It's a music term, but it's not the word I want to use. But
yeah, yeah, yeah.
just like change and
It's like an evolution, basically, how I try to see
yeah,
it.
it's the same kind of thing in real life that is with music. Like people like what they like, and when it gets when it gets weird when it changes. So
Exactly, exactly.
yeah,
And when it comes to like trying to just experiment with your sound and experiment with just anything in general, really, what depends on like what kind of like creative aspect you're trying to go for.
right. What mood
It,
I'm
it
in,
yeah, it just
like
challenges you, and it makes you just you grow to a certain extent as a person. You
mm-hmm,
may not feel it right away, but like later down the road you start to like understand like why you did it, and
for
understand like,
sure.
and you start to like feel kind of proud of why you did it. When
Yeah,
you, even just because you didn't get the response or the whatever type of feedback you wanted to
yeah.
get at first, don't matter, you did something that like not a lot of people were able to
Yeah, I know
do.
exactly what you're
So
talking about. Like listening to songs that I made like in the quarantine days, like the early
yeah,
days, I was like, I had to make this, but thank God it stayed where it stayed. Like
yeah,
I
literally,
like I had to make it. I thought it was amazing as I was making it, and it still is good. Like it's still good, but it it's where it needs to be for sure. Like it is
yeah,
not something that I would put out now. It's not something that I would, it's not for the public now. Like as
yeah.
me now, it wouldn't make sense. So I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. Like even I don't know if you want to talk about it, but even our song, it's
Hmm.
a perfect example. Because it's just like it did challenge me. I did challenge
Hmm.
you. But now it's like we got something special going on at the moment when it comes to the
Yeah.
song that we're going for. So it was worth it.
Yeah.
It was worth the challenge. It was worth to like, to be in that present moment just to
Yeah.
just to witness the outcome of it. So,
Yeah, and we
you
should
know,
talk about the way that we did that because it was really just like
no, bro.
no plan, like
At all.
came
Facts.
together, heard the first thing. I was like, okay, let's write to this now. And that was really the challenge of it is that like,
It was literally the
can you
first beat I played with.
yeah, I was just like, let's do it. That's how I am though. Like that's really how I am. It's like the challenging myself like when can I make something good in the moment, like can I be in the
Mm,
moment, can I see a beat for what it can for its potential, can I hear something out of this, and can I
yeah,
make it something that I would want to listen to or I would want to create. And it's like if it's the first thing or if it can be the first thing, it will be for me, like
yeah,
so it was really cool that you were able to like meet me there because some people get scared. Some people are like, you know what I mean? Like some people are like, oh no, maybe, and they want to like take a little bit more time, and I respect that. Like
yeah,
none of the process should be rushed, but I think just like in making music with somebody for the first time, if you can do that, like if you can get to like this level of like trust and like safety that we were both in in that moment to just like have something ready for next time and like just be working consistently on the on whatever idea the person brought, like that's really special.
Mm.
And I think I mentioned that to you, that it was really cool to have that experience with you where you weren't frightened by my like willingness to just go off of whatever
Yeah,
we felt was good. You know what I mean? Because we trust each other as musicians. I'm
yeah,
also a fan of you, so I know what you put out, and I've seen it, and I've listened, and so I had that aspect of like understanding and trust there, and I was just like, yeah, let's do it. Let's see if we can just do it, whatever.
yeah,
And so that also has like created this capacity for us to do that again and again and again and again. And
yeah,
whatever you want to
yeah,
create, I'm like, I'll write for it. You know what I'm saying? Like I'll find something
yeah.
for it.
Right. Now I always like a challenge. Like I never try. I'm not trying to be like guy, but like I never try to back away from it. Just because
Yeah.
like yeah, for real. Like it just it makes me. I like, bro. Like I love testing myself to like for real when it comes to like. I'm not saying it comes to anything, but like mainly just like when it comes to creating, like
Right.
just because like I know like I want to be better at it. And if even though if I don't figure it out, at least that's right. That's all that matters. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So let me just see, let's just see how it goes. And if it doesn't work out the way we expected, then it is what it is. If it does, it does. Usually it does. So thank God. But at the end of the day, like if there's a way, there's always an answer towards that
Yeah.
way. You just gotta, take that step and see
Try.
see where it goes. And that
Yeah.
comes with
Give
anything,
it a try.
really. But I'm glad that like I didn't like back out my own end for that song
Mhm.
specifically. Because like I knew like I like I said, I knew exactly where you want to go. And then
Mhm.
so I just had to meet you halfway there. And then once
Yeah.
I did, we are where we are right now, basically. So
Yeah. Very
um
cool.
so yeah, no, that's perfect. No, so that's a little taste of
Little
what you
teaser.
what y'all gonna hear within that song. So that's gonna be exciting. But
Yeah.
perfect. So question number 4. So who or what are your inspirations that develops the way your music sounds today? And that doesn't
Mhm.
like mean like any artist. Like
Right.
is
Okay.
like whatever inspires you basically, like your that inspires your music.
Yeah. That's a good question too.
Thank you.
I think nature.
Mm,
Um nature. And just like introspection and just like development. Like
yeah,
again, like I started making music mostly in quarantine. I mean, I was writing before that. Like the songs that I was writing before that though were more like this idea of what I thought music should be and like what I
yeah,
thought people would relate to and what was most common, like like breakup songs and stuff like that. And then once I continued making music with connection to meditation and understanding myself and developing and trusting myself and learning who I am as a human being, as an individual, then it got a little bit deeper and more attached to things like nature and progress and grand scheme ideas instead of like little things about like whatever relationship was not working for me at the moment. You know what I mean? And um, so what heavily kind of inspires the music that I make is nature, is progress, is introspection, is unlearning the self, discovering the self,
yeah,
and also allowing space for all the aspects of myself. So like a lot of the what I love about what is seeming to be this project is that it's everything. Like it's sadness, it's confidence, it's joy, just dancing, being expressive. It's um a budding thing, a new relationship idea, moment, feeling with yourself, with another. That's left for interpretation. But it's like allowing space for all sides of yourself. There's anger, like
yeah,
so it's just like every kind of emotion kind of in one thing, and it's just
yeah,
yeah, it's just representative of my journey and how I've kind of learned myself as like a woman living in New York City and dealing with all these things, and
yeah,
you know what I'm saying. So yeah, but also nature. I love being outside, I love meditating, I love grounding, I love literally physically touching trees, I love putting planting my feet down, and especially when I was writing a lot of the stuff that I was writing, I was thinking about my relationship with nature and the universe and this energy and
yeah,
spirituality and things like that. And so that like at the top of the list is what has inspired kind of the sounds. which is why it's everything, right? Which is why it is such an amalgamation, is because like nature is everything. The universe is everything. It's created from something, and
Yeah.
it's this one thing that is connected in all these different ways, and spiraled out to mean all these different things and manifests itself in all these different things, and you know, you know what I'm trying to say.
Hmm.
So just that idea, that connection, that that yeah, just connection to nature and
Yeah.
stemming from nature, growth, like all that, all that, all that.
Yeah. No, being around that environment is definitely a good a good thing, obviously, just to be around, but like like it really it's good for self-improvement,
Hmm.
and growth and healing and anything really, just to get yourself. It doesn't even matter what type of emotion you're feeling too. Like you could be
Right.
happy and be in nature, angry, sad, like don't matter. Because at the end, like when you into that nature environment, like your mood kind of just changes up immediately.
Hmm.
From being sad to happy, or even if you're still sad, you're still gonna be happy just because you're in nature.
You
You know
just
what I'm
have a
saying?
new
Yeah,
perspective. I feel like nature does this really amazing thing that when you're in it, you recognize like how everything is connected. Like
yeah, yeah.
that's like the big thing that I feel like I've learned from nature, is that like ultimately we come from the same thing. Like we're all different. There's so many different versions of ourselves that exist in this current kind of like playing field, but it's also not serious and also from the same thing. Like, yeah. So,
No, yeah. It's I like to go on nature as much as I can, whenever I can, really. And I like to be around like birds and whatnot. I like to be around like because like yo, it's crazy like how we're like I always wondered, and we're gonna switch. I'm not gonna say we're gonna switch it up because we're talking about nature. So birds and all that, they're nature. But
yes.
I always wondered where it's like how is the life of being a bird and how is the life of being like a pigeon? You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
I was having this conversation with my best friend basically, and I was like, I wonder if they have because like it'll be crazy if they have like celebrity birds or like a president bird. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
that's
it's
really funny.
so it's just like, and I always think about that because that's actually a real thing because just like we as humans put certain titles within each other and whatnot,
Uh-huh.
and like these and like and these I don't know how it is when it comes to birds or whatever, but I don't have
Right.
I don't believe they put these certain titles. They're just living freely. They're just doing the thing that they want to do, and
Correct.
that's basically a reflection of what we should kind of be
What we
like.
should be doing, right?
Yeah, that's how I
And
always try to. That's why I rather like spend my time as much as I can with them. Not that's not I'm not discrediting discrediting humans or whatever, but like
but you could, we
yeah,
could use a little discrediting for sure.
yeah, but like just being around them, you just feel good basically.
Yeah.
So it
That
just
is an example of what I like to call breaking the matrix, because
yeah, yeah,
these like titles and therefore expectations and weight that we place on each other is what has created all of the drama, all of the turmoil, all of the negative, all of
yep,
the left ideas. Like, it's crazy if we could all just recognize each other as the same thing. If we could all just recognize, not as the same thing, right? Our differences are what makes our experiences here special, and
yeah,
what makes individuals special. But like at the core, you understand? Like, so yeah, that's a huge thing. And that's a huge thing. These ideas of titles is so huge to me. I love to talk about it any time that I can, because
yeah,
it's in all of your relationships. It's family titles mean certain things, friendship titles mean certain things. Like, it's and it has impacted so much of my life, and like confused
yeah.
me, and like spun me out in so many ways, these titles that we give people. And it's just like, at the end of the day, like,
Yeah, that's
your
what I'm
title,
saying.
you
Yeah,
know what I'm saying? Like,
literally.
we're literally just people. Like, we could just be that
Just
and be fine.
but yeah, just be who whoever you want to be. Like don't let
Mhm.
the people around you, your surroundings, kind of like take a control of who you are. Like, cause it kind of
Right.
confuses. It kind of gives you like a little identity crisis to a certain
Yes,
extent, if that makes sense.
absolutely.
Because it's just like
Absolutely.
you don't even know who you are. Because people around you telling you who you are, but like they
Exactly.
how do they know who you are and you don't even hardly know yourself? Like it's just it's a
Exactly.
real
And
thing.
that's what I was talking to you about, or that's what I was getting at the
Yeah,
beginning
yeah,
when I was like, I'm
yeah,
my biggest thing is being misunderstood, and like I struggle with this, even, you know, as an artist who wants to be perceived, I struggle with this idea of being perceived because it holds so much weight for people, like, you know, like, and they get it wrong, like, you know what I'm saying? So it's all that, it's all that,
yeah.
yeah.
And that's a tough thing also, just being no, yeah, this just like yeah, just being a musician in general. Like it could come
Hmm.
with all different type of areas of like creating, but like musicians like trying to express yourself and try to have people understand like, yo, like I'm expressing myself a little bit differently because there's too many people are doing the same things just to like
Right,
fit. Like it's a cliche thing to say, but it's like the only reason why it's so cliche is because y'all still doing it and y'all still rapping
right,
about it, y'all still talking about it. Like nothing is
yes, nothing has
we
moved.
we can say like we should do a change, but it's like it's really all about the action. It's really all about how we like are bringing it across as much as we can to
Yeah,
like be that change within the music, within everything really. And so like whenever people make a certain type of song, they are not afraid to break the boundaries. They're not
right,
afraid to like be different. They can just be different and break as
right,
much boundaries as they want without
yeah,
the worry of the judgment of the audience or whoever
right.
is going to be watching, because that
And
that
that's all about intention, right? Like you
yeah.
can tell the artists that are rapping about the same thing or the people that are doing it about the same thing and then complain about it are just like in it because they know it works. Like,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, yeah,
you know, doing the formula because they know it works, and it gets them, you know, hopefully to the space that they want to be, but
yeah,
at what cost, right? So that's when I feel
yeah,
like in
yeah,
like working with you and sharing like kind of the space with you, it was really nice to tell that our intentions were the same, in the creative in the creative process and just like in life in general. It's just like it's all about intention. You can really feel that on all sensory levels from artists, especially I think like musicians and
yeah.
all kinds of artists. I think actually it's like that's when you really know. This when you really find out whether you know what the intentions are of creating the thing. You can feel that. So
No, 100%, 100%. So question number 5, and you don't have to give me the full like
sure.
outcome of how you do it, but in your own way of how you want to express it. Question number question number 5. So what's your like creative process like when it comes to making a song?
Yeah. It's to be honest, again, it's different every time. Like
Yeah,
um most recently I was just like overcome with like I was overcome with emotion, but um I was, and so I just like wrote it out in a way that like I knew immediately was going to be a song. I think just at this point, if I'm like feeling something and my immediate like thought is to grab something, and I don't think that it has come from me being an artist. I think that's just like what I naturally do. Like I was always
yeah,
writing. Like I always had journals growing up. Ask my mother. Like you know, like 50 unfinished open notebooks around at all times, right? So whenever I feel that kind of instinct to jot, I'm like, oh, this is gonna be music now. So sometimes it's that, and sometimes I intentionally like find a beat and like wait till I hear one that makes me like want to write.
yeah.
And then other times it's in like collaboration with people and we're like and then we just like
Hey,
make, you know what I'm
I
saying?
should have
So
recorded
that's
that.
kind of yeah. Yeah. So kind of those three are the main kind of processes. Like either, you know, it's not me, it's just I have to get over something or I have to get through something,
Yeah.
or it is me. I want to be inspired. I'm feeling like there's been a lull and I need to just try something, or you know, with my family, my friends. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, for real. Yeah, definitely, definitely. Yeah. So like it's always just whenever you feel like it's that time and moment, you just go for it like immediately, basically.
Mhm.
I like
Mhm.
that. I like that. Nah, that's a perfect way to kind of like to respond to it. I guess how to say it, because I one thing that I like to use as well, when it comes
Mhm.
to like responding immediately, and it helps out to a certain extent. Also with like you said with writing, like if I have a pen or pencil around me, or I can just go on my
Mhm.
phone and notes, I go right away. I also use voice memos as well
Right.
sometimes. Voice memos have helped me to like if there's like a certain melody I have in my head, I try to
Mhm.
like you know kind of like say it within my voice and then just record it and then go to the studio and see if I can recreate what I had in my mouth into into the audio interface that
Space,
I'm
yeah.
using.
Hmm.
So like, yeah, that's basically like it's so cool where it's just like there's so many different ways to try to like respond to your creative process in order to
Hmm.
like receive it with however you want to approach it. So because there's different type of ways to do it. And there's different type of ways to like, because sometimes either you need to get inspiration from somewhere, or sometimes you need to get away somewhere. Sometimes you need to take a break. Like there's so many ways. There's so many
Right.
ways to like to just find your way back into the creative process and just be creative,
Hmm.
you know. But yeah, that's why I like to like ask that question. Just because not only there's a different answer to that a question, like whenever I ask people,
Hmm.
um, there's always an outlook for me to like understand like how is it brought upon and how to like understand it to a certain extent, basically, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes sense. Totally.
Question number 6. So if you would like to talk about it, I know you have an upcoming project,
Hmm.
upcoming EP, right? I believe.
Yeah. I
I'll
believe.
so I don't know if you would like to talk about the creative journey for it so far, or and if you would like to like give us like, I don't want to say like an inside scoop, but like in your own turn, like certain extent, if you want to like talk about it, how do you want to tell us how the story has been developed, how's everything, how's the
Right.
journey, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, sure. I'd love to talk about it. So yeah, the main kind of concept is just trying to find like the connection between all of them. And right now the connection between all of them is really like what is being said, the fact that there are these different kinds of emotions in the thing. And so I've talked a little bit about it already.
Yeah.
And it is different vibes, it is different genres, it is different sounds. Um, but I think at its core, it's just like been helping me kind of figure out who I am, like, and it's real specific like moments that I think best kind of represent the thing. And so this is kind of a funny question because it's helping me maybe like determine a title. So you and I have come
Oh,
up with my artist name. Maybe we'll figure out a title too. But
all
a
right,
lot of the
perfect.
songs were written when I was 22 or like in that genre. And the number two is my birthday's on the second. Like it's always been a thing that follows me.
Mm,
And um and so yeah, I guess I'm thinking of the name 22, but I don't know. I love it and hate it for different reasons. But the thing is it's a lot of like m- moments where I felt like I was uncovering who I actually am as a human.
yeah,
Basically, is the best way to describe like what the album is or what the EP is or whatever it is going to be. Whatever, however many songs I decide are going to be on it is kind of what determines that. But
yeah,
whatever the project is going to be, it is the moments that I feel like best represent who either I am or or it's like best describe moments that have made me who I am, right?
yeah, yeah.
Um, and so yeah, that's what the album is. I'm excited. What the EP
No,
album
same.
is. I'm excited. I can't wait to just be hearing it. I can't wait to see how people receive it, if they will, and see if people relate to it. I think the most. Like I want people to have
Yeah,
at least one thing or one song or one moment in the project that they're like, oh yeah, dude, I was right there with you.
yeah, yeah.
Like you know what I'm saying? That's what I want to happen. And it's like I feel like because a lot of the music comes from moments where I was in it,
Mm-hmm.
really in whatever I was talking about, that it's like I feel like that's gonna be what makes people kind of feel it is like just the rawness or the fact that it was like actually like this is what happened when it happened. This was the moment that it happened and this is how it played out. Like it's
Right.
very specific in that way.
Mm.
And so yeah, I'm excited for people to hear.
Perfect. No, that's perfect. Nah, yeah. Like when it comes to like making like a project, like there's always like different type of like emotions to bring upon to being in that moment. Because as you said yourself, like you had like different type of like emotions going throughout the whole way. Talking about like when sometimes your emotions were up there, then sometimes it was angry, and then you brought it upon within your music, and it
Hmm.
transformed you into like not just a better human being or even a better artist. It transformed you into a more knowledgeable. So like when you
Right.
approach it the next time, Because you're like you said, you're still working on it. You're still working on the project, and you're still trying to figure out how you want to approach it and how you want to be able to throw it out into the universe
Right.
to the people around you. And you could still have the opportunity just to express yourself even more,
Mm-hmm.
and express yourself even not just more, but like challenge yourself when it comes to like the sounds that you want to go for even more to a certain
Mm-hmm.
extent. Like it's always a cool thing because like not only you have like a hold on like everything that you want to create within the story that you're trying to evolve, like
Mm-hmm.
you're just seeing it and you're just seeing it grow, from
Right.
where it was into where it's going to be. So
Mm-hmm.
it is a cool thing to like win this because like you don't know where it's gonna lead to. You don't know if this is just gonna be a single, and then you end up having another song, and then you
Mm-hmm.
don't know if those two are gonna be singles. Then you have another one, be like, oh shit,
Right.
maybe I should just make a project out of these songs, and then you just keep
Right.
continuing, 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 and
Mm-hmm.
then you just made a full story.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
what does 22? Did I right?
Yes. So it's actually just a number two.
Oh, so it's not.
But I like no, it's 22, but like
All right.
the significance of the number has always been like two. Like
Got you,
just
got you.
Gemini, there's two sides. Like my birthday is the second. Like, you know, 222 is like the angel number for balance.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and like I just like the symmetry of the number 22. I wanted to do 222, but it's just like damn, like Jay-Z really made an album 444, so I don't just want to be have that. But
Wow. I mean,
so so um yeah, just like just all those different things have like it's
yeah,
symmetrical. The in three it means balance, like which is really like that's what I was gonna call the album too, is balance.
yeah.
Because it's like this whole cycle, um, and it ends with like this idea of like I don't want to give it away,
No, of
um
course. No, yeah, definitely.
but yeah, that idea of balance, and I feel like without having the my debut album just being called Balance is like a good kind of like, people would figure out what it meant, and like
Yeah.
then they'd be like, oh, balance, oh. Um, but yeah, just like yeah, the number two is special. Um, yeah.
Sweet. Sweet. Now balance is the key of life, I feel like. And it's definitely a challenging thing to do sometimes because sometimes we have a lot of weight on our shoulders. And sometimes it's tough to like really get through and find that balance because even when
Mm,
you have that balance at the moment, sometimes there's always something that likes to add more weight. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah,
So
right.
so so
And
it's
tip
just
the scale. Yeah,
yeah, literally. So sometimes you gotta find a way to balance that level just a bit,
yeah,
and then once you balance that level, just keep it balanced as much as you can. Because life is not perfect, obviously. But it's meant like that for a reason to just become it's to test ourselves. And that's
hmm,
why I think the kind of life is just a test. We just gotta like get through it as much as we can. So find that
yeah,
balance. So
yeah.
yeah. So question number 7. This is also
Ooh,
another cool question that I love to ask as well. And you can approach it however you want to approach it. Question number 7. How do you deal with writer's block when it appears into your journey of trying to write a song?
yep. So my easiest answer is just to get outside. Like when I find that there is a lull or there is a shift in energy in my creative process, I take a look at what has been going on, and also it's always something is off balance. Like my rituals have not been in place. I'm not
Yeah.
meditating. I'm not doing yoga. I'm not moving my body. I'm not fueling my body the way that I like it to be fueled. Like I'm not giving myself access to things to be inspired by, and so yeah, writer's block is real. And sometimes it's just like I said earlier in the creative process, like if I feel like there's been a lull, I'll just listen to beats until I feel like they make me want to say something.
Mm.
Um, and so yeah, that's one way, just to listen to music that makes you feel like you want to add to it.
Yeah.
Um, and that's not only beats like that you can find, like that's also like music in real life. It's just like sometimes I listen to my favorite songs and I'm like, how would I make this myself? Like, how would I make this?
Mm.
If I was in the studio with them, how would I make this? What would I add? What would my verse sound like? And then I make something. whether or not it's going to be used, because is always weird, because I try not to, like, if something is like inspired from a specific song that already exists in the world, it's very unlikely that it'll be for the public, because it feels like just a continuation of something that I didn't create. But it's just a way to like jumpstart that process and get back into it.
Yeah,
But yeah, the first thing is go outside, like check in with my like routines, my rituals, see what's been out of whack, and just like try and get in my own rhythm, so that like it's like, oh, I wrote today, like, you know what I mean? So
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
No, that's
like go
perfect.
outside
That's
and figure out
perfect.
my life. Yeah.
No, yeah, no, that's I feel like that's the best way to approach it when writer's block does appear into your creative process. Because it's a good and a bad thing. Like I don't think writer's block is a bad thing at all. I think it's just
It's natural.
yeah, it's a normal thing that like it just
It's
happens.
natural.
Yeah, when it comes to just either doing it so much or just you just don't know like what to really say. So sometimes you
Right.
need to go outside.
And
Some
sometimes you have to let it like live. Sometimes you
yeah,
have to
yeah.
be in the lull. Like sometimes you're like, okay, like I have been going a little bit heavy. Something's out of whack. Like let me take this break. Let me use this break. Um, yeah, and I think that's something that people don't talk about a lot, is how to use the lull in order to like help you out as a human, because you're not only an artist, you're a human.
Mm-hmm.
And like I never hear people talk about that, how like being in that lull can also kind of facilitate this big spiral. Like if you look at everything cyclically, like just recognize that this part of the lull is down here and eventually you're going to come back up. Like,
Yeah.
so just allowing it to live instead of being boggled down by this idea that you haven't made something in a long time is something that I wish more people in the artistic space spoke about. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, you
It's
just
real.
don't know that you're in the process of being inspired by something yet. Just because, if you're always in the process of being creative and not allowing space to be inspired by whatever you're experiencing in the present day, you're often not being present.
Yeah.
So,
Because like I have a like thing where it's just like I think the people that are listening, they kind of like put us into a certain kind of pedestal where it's like we
mhm,
always need to be on top of certain things all the time since we're artists and since we're creatives, and so they had not all of them, but they have the mentality of thinking like we can't take a break or step away.
right,
We always got to make music. We always got to make an album. We always got to drop a project every year, music videos
something,
left and right, just to
yeah,
keep you guys I don't want to say keep them.
entertained,
Yeah, not literally to a certain extent. Yeah, literally. But at the same time, it's like you need that time to just get away
be a human.
from everything, so
Yeah.
you can be able, like you said, just to be human and to also just live life, like
Hmm.
I'm literally like you know what I'm saying, like
Hmm.
it's just I like to do this as much as I can and do it to
Yes.
the highest extent that I can, but I'm
Right.
not gonna destroy myself and I
Right.
burn myself mentally, physically, emotionally, or
Right.
whatever, just to keep this thing going over and over again,
Hmm.
or even to just to like keep y'all entertained to a certain extent, because it's just at the end of the day the key is just to be happy with what you're creating and how you want to approach it into your own way, into your own time, like because like especially when you get into that like position, I feel like it's so I mean I can't really explain as much because I'm not in there in that position yet, but like they have so much
But
pressure and they have
right.
so much ears around them where it's just like, yo, you gotta drop something now. Like I wonder how many people be saying like, yo, like Frank Ocean gotta drop an album very soon. Like,
Being
so
one of them
so it's just like, nah, like let
myself.
him exactly same. So it's just like that probably may never happen. If it doesn't, it doesn't. It is
Correct.
what it is.
Right. Right.
He so at
Yeah.
the end of the day, we're all human. So we just need that time just to be we just need that time to heal. And once we're already healed, we can rise up and then deliver and
Let it happen
then
again
and
and
then
again
yeah,
and
just
again.
keep
Keep
that
it rolling.
rotation going as much as we can. So yeah. Question number 8. So I mean these are all interesting questions. So yeah, question number 8. So before you get on any type of stage to perform, do you do
Hell
anything for
yeah.
yourself
Yep.
to get yourself in a good space
Absolutely.
to perform? I'm just gonna take a guess. I mean, no, I'm gonna have you answer it because I think I already know the answer. Um, I
Um,
think I know the answer.
I meditate.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, I definitely meditate. But there's a whole lot of
Of
a
course.
whole lot of things that I'm like, take my course to find out what to do to prep for a performance. But like, it is recognizing that your instrument is your body, so making sure your body is where it needs to be, right? So there
Right.
are a bunch of things that you might not know that could affect your voice and your body and become a distraction that you have to like handle even days before.
Yeah, literally.
So just making sure like everything internally is working the way that you work best in, you feel the most comfortable in. And before I'm going to perform, like if we start early in the day, I'm making sure I work out because your voice sounds better when things are moved.
Mm,
And also like creating that fight or flight kind of sensation makes the second one a little bit easier. Um, like drink water, I just like take care of myself.
yeah, definitely.
Um, and I meditate. I imagine everything. I prep everything. I meditate for like a moment in just silence, and then I'll do a guided meditation. So I'll like picture the atmosphere if I know it ahead of time, the space that I'm performing in, myself, what I'm going to wear, what I'm going to say before and after, how I feel. I picture myself in that spot and the feeling that I want myself and the audience to be feeling, and I sit with that for as long as possible. Then I do a guided meditation for whatever I'm needing in that moment, which is different every time. It has been different every time.
Yeah,
And so that's really like the main thing before performance that I prep with. But there's a whole thing, like there's a body scan. You go throughout all parts of your body, making sure you're feeling connected to the ground, connecting to whatever makes you feel grounded, that is, making sure you're set up right, making sure your everything is where it needs to be so you can breathe well, you can move well. Um, and yeah, there's breathing exercises sometimes that I do. It just depends
yeah,
on like, how much time or how much I know about the space. But
yeah,
yeah, definitely meditate is the most important, I think, of those things.
yeah, definitely. No, when it, so I have one more question. Just we're talking about that topic meditation.
Mhm.
What like works better? Well, I guess they both work as a saying, but what works better for you, like guided meditation or just as is like meditation in your
Yeah,
own way?
like not before performances or just like in general in life.
Yeah, in general.
In general in life, guided meditations, I live by them, like I swear by them,
Yeah, yeah.
because I'm really good at like being vividly in a space with my eyes closed, like, and
Gotcha.
I meditate so much that sometimes in conversation with people or when I need to like catch my bearings or when I'm about to go on a roll, I will close my eyes in the moment. So it's weird. So if you're ever like catch me kind of going on to something, like I will close my eyes because that's the space that I've felt the most creative, the most able to picture things, the most able to imagine things, idealize things, create things is with my eyes closed. So like in moments like
Yeah,
I'll just shut them. I'll just go inside and create this whole kind of world in this thing. So guided meditations definitely helped me get to that point where before it's like I couldn't even shut my eyes for 30 seconds without getting anxious. You know what I'm saying?
mm,
So guided meditations definitely allowed me to become better at just silent meditations or quiet meditations. And so I think to answer your question, especially as like an intro to meditation, guided is going to help you get to the point and the overall like amazing benefits of just quiet meditation, sitting with yourself and observing yourself,
yeah,
because
yeah,
it's scary. A lot of times people say what keeps them from meditation is just like they can't sit still or they can't be quiet, but it's not about being quiet. First of all, it's about allowing your thoughts to come and then moving away from them and sticking on whatever thing you're trying to stick on,
yeah,
right? And so when you are watching your own thoughts, people are scared of that. People don't even know. Like, it's again part of the process of uncovering who you are as a person. It's like not that your thoughts are going to be scary, but like that you might be thinking
yeah,
about something that you thought you were over 2 years ago. You know what I mean? Or a memory might be kind of triggered in your kind of journey of healing, which is really closely attached to meditation, I think, um, and that you're not ready to deal with. And so like I think sitting quietly by yourself and allowing your thoughts to come and just being able to push them away really gives you like power and like does a number for self-awareness and allows you to create space for other people when they're having their moment. And it also like helps with memory, I think, because for me, because I'm like a lot of times I was interrupting people like I tell because I was like, oh, I'm gonna forget this. I know where to put my thoughts. I know where to place them so that they can come back to me, and I know how to push them away because they're not of me, they're not from me, right?
Mm,
Because you don't control 100% of your thoughts. It's maybe you're remembering something you scrolled by on Twitter, maybe you saw something that wasn't meant for you. You don't control 100% of your thoughts. So once you
yeah,
give yourself the opportunity to scroll through and swipe away what works for you and what doesn't, it's kind of this like superpower a little bit.
yeah. No, the mind is it's a powerful tool.
Yeah.
And the mind it can do a lot of things, and it's sometimes it could do a lot of things without you not having the hands on it as much as you can,
Hmm.
because it's just
Yeah.
like your mind can have one thought, and then the next minute it could have another thought immediately, because
Hmm.
like we have a lot of thoughts like we have thoughts running in our minds right now, you know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So it's just like it is a scary thing,
Hmm.
especially trying to for people that are new. Because I meditate, but like not like heavily,
Hmm.
I'll be real with you. But whenever I do meditate, is like I obviously I not only I feel more calm, but I just feel just
More in control.
more, yeah, literally more. I have more power to do
Hmm.
everything like within my body that
Hmm.
I can be able to do, and because it's crazy, because like it's so easy to have your mind racing all the time, but it's so
Hmm.
difficult to have your mind in place.
So, right. Yeah.
So it's an interesting thing to like actually understand, where it's just like we need that. We need to relax sometimes. So because not we take certain things a little too seriously sometimes, and sometimes if we take those certain things too seriously, we overthink, we have anxiety, we get depressed, our emotions start to go crazy for no reason. In
Hmm.
reality, everything will be all right, and we just need
Hmm.
to find a certain source to get us to that certain mindset. And meditation is definitely the probably, if not the best source, definitely one of the best sources to go to,
Hmm. And the
so
last thing I'll say about that too is that meditation is not just sitting like this. Like writing is a form of meditation.
yeah,
Sometimes working out is a form of meditation. So it's like, because there are some ideas that like the granola girls on Instagram are like, you have to meditate, you have to be a yogi. Like if you're not doing yoga, you know what I'm saying? And it's like it keeps a lot of people out because people, like people have things that keep them from being able to sit still and quiet and
yeah,
close your eyes. You know what
yeah,
I'm saying? Like people have real things going on with their chemical makeup that prevent them from doing that thing. So the last thing I want to say about that, because this is a huge, huge, huge something that is so important to me, is that you
of
just have to
course.
find your form of meditation, whatever that is, whatever allows you to be aware and be in control in that way and do the same thing and reach the same level of consciousness that you're experiencing when you're you know meditating or sitting still or whatever. It's like you just have to find the one that works for you. If that's writing, just like writing, like your stream of conscious writing, like then that's a form of meditation. If it's out loud in conversation, like as Gemini, a lot of like, me uncovering ideas or coming to terms with like or understanding something or decompressing from something was out loud. I needed to do it out loud or it didn't work, or I needed to write it down or it didn't work. And so
Mhm.
now I can think about it, I can meditate about it, and it does the same thing for me where I don't have to waste somebody else's time like that or whatever. But yeah, my thing is like meditation is not one thing and you just have to find your form, and that is the way to go about that. Because I know people who are like, I won't sit, I won't do it. And I'm like, okay, but what do you do? Let's figure it out. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, yeah. No, that's important. That's 100% important. All right, so that's question number 8. So we got 2 more questions left. All right. So question number 9. So what do
yeah.
you believe, in your own way of how you want to answer it, is the best advice or message that you would like to give to the people that are going to be watching, or just
Um,
anyone that's following their dreams and goals? Doesn't have to be music, just anyone that is found their dreams. What advice would you like to give to them in your own way?
my best advice to give to whoever is listening is to do whatever you want as long as you're not hurting anybody in the process. Do
Yes,
whatever serves you, do whatever brings you closer to your joy, do whatever connects you to the frequency of love. Remind yourself of gratitude, stay centered, stay focused, and just do whatever you want. Do whatever you
Mm-hmm.
want as long as you know your intentions are clear, and they're for the good, right, of yourself and others, right? So yeah, that's my
No,
best advice. Do whatever you want.
that's the best advice to one of the best advice to definitely give to the people. Being free is the main goal, man. Because there's too many rules out here, too many, just too much laws out here to try to get us
Hmm.
distracted to what we really want to do. So just keep those rules, laws, whatever, let them exist, but don't let it exist in your own head. That's the
Hmm.
key. And just be free to do the things that you want to do because you'll go far, man. You break boundaries, you break all the rules, whatever. It is what it is, man. Because at the end of
Right.
the day, you just live out the life you want to live, and then we got one life, you know. Who knows where we're gonna be at next? So just do as much as we can with the life that we have, and then you'll be where you want to be. So 100%,
Yep. Yep. Yep.
100%. So we're in our last question. Question number 10. I think this is my favorite question, so I always say the best for last. So question number 10. If you can say one thing to your younger self, what would that message be? Yeah,
I would say, what would I say to my younger self? Let me really think about this because I have. I
yeah.
would say you know what you're talking about. I would say keep doing what you're doing. No, I'm just kidding. Um, I think really to my younger self, I think younger me in a lot of moments needed just a fucking hug. Just
Yeah,
I think younger me really needed like like the you're not alone, the like trust yourself, the like like your this relationship is not as important as it needs to be, like all that, you know what I mean, like the what I think is most common that young people need to hear is when I was a young person, like the most difficult thing was like not feeling connected to something or in the way that I expected it to be. Like in any relationship I had, I was struggling with the fact that it wasn't reaching or meeting my expectations, and so and I would look at relationships that like mirrored mine but weren't the same as mine and like be like,
yeah,
ah, I want that. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
I
That's
think
real.
what I would tell myself is that I'm okay, that I'm a good person, that I'll find my people, you know what I mean, as I have, and just to, you know, I really keep doing what I'm doing. A lot of what I'm doing now is for the younger version of myself. Like I'm playing the guitar because 12-year-old me heard You Are Not a Human Being by Lil Wayne and decided that I was going to learn the guitar. Like I am a teacher because fourth grade me said this is what you're going to do for the rest of your life, and I'm doing that. I'm making music because I told my grandpa, you know what I mean, all of it comes
Right.
from who I was as a person. So really that I know myself more than the people are trying to tell me I know myself more than these people think they know me, and yeah, that it's going to be okay, that you'll find your people, that
Yeah.
life is a video game, like just fuck it, you know what I mean,
Mm.
like
Like The
it
Sims.
doesn't matter.
Facts.
Doesn't matter. That's what I tell my younger self. So
Wow.
I'd give her
Like,
a hug while I was there. She's struggling.
nah, man, that's very real. No, that's wow. Nah, when it comes to like having that question asked within your own self whenever you have that thought sometimes, because like I don't think about it all the time, but I
Hmm.
have been lately just because I've been asking that questions to a couple people that I interview, just because it's like you're reflecting from all the things that you wanted to do, and knowing that you have done it, it's just
Hmm.
like you kind of start to feel proud of yourself for the things that you
Right.
accomplish, you know what I'm saying? So it's just
Hmm.
like, and knowing that like you actually did the things that you wanted to do, and like during that time you have many ears around you to like say, no, you shouldn't be doing this, no, this is not the
Hmm.
way to go, no, like you're not gonna be successful in this yada craft, whatever you're trying to go for, and then you do it. Not only you did it, you end up proving them wrong at the same time, you know what I'm
Right.
saying? So it's just
Yeah.
like, and not saying that doesn't matter or like prove them wrong, but now you feel like you can do anything you want to do, you know, because
Hmm.
you really can.
Right.
Because like that's with us human beings, we have the natural ability to really do so much,
Hmm.
as long as our mind can be able to put that. in a certain to have that mindset established, you know what I'm saying? So because
Right.
if that mindset is always staying in that same state of mind to where it's like, oh no, I can't do this because this is not reality. This is just fantasy. Like, nah, like
Mm-hmm.
if you switch your mindset, bro, you can really I don't want to go too overboard, but you can really climb Mount Everest. You can go to space.
Yeah,
You can go
you
to the moon.
can. People have done it.
You can do a
Yeah.
lot of things. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
just like have faith within whatever you're gonna do.
Mm-hmm.
Because I didn't think I would be here. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I like my I guess when I say for myself, my younger me would be proud but surprised as well. You know that I made it
Mm-hmm.
this far. So
Mm-hmm.
and at the end of the day, this is just the beginning as well. You know, so in
Right.
20 years, we gonna ask the same question where it's just like you can ask your younger 20 yourself where you be when you're 40s or something like you know what I'm saying like just to always just reassure yourself that everything is going to be okay in life and just not
Mm-hmm.
put too much pressure on yourself and just worry and not just worry, man, just live life
Mm-hmm.
and just live to your absolute fullest as much as you can and just be happy as much as you can. So yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for real. That is it, LAN the Gemini.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you for taking time out of your schedule for coming up on here and just being you, being free, and just being LAN the Gemini, man. It was a vibe.
Yes.
It was a vibe.
Yes. It's always so good talking to you. As I mentioned, I always feel better after. So thanks for having me. Can't wait to do the next thing. See you
Yeah.
Sunday.
Oh,
Looking forward.
yeah. Sunday's about to be a vibe. Yeah. Nah,
Yeah.
Sunday's gonna be exciting for sure. Nah, for real.
Cool.
Yeah, thank you just for being part of it again and just yeah, man. I know you have an Instagram. Do you have? I mean, because I'm gonna put like your social like accounts so people can support and follow you. I know you have a social. If you have like, I mean, I
Right.
know you have Instagram. I don't know if you have anything else.
Yeah, Instagram is probably the main thing. It's just lan dot ink with two eyes. So it's like LAN dot, oh, just one I, INC. Twitter is LAN with two eyes,
Got
ink,
you.
lan dot ink. And then I think TikTok is also lan dot ink.
Oh, so you got
So
okay, best. Oh yeah, I'll put all three then. Bet.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, man. Showing support, showing love is the main key. So that's the goal for this whole podcast is just to do exactly that, man. Is there anything else that you would like to say to the people?
Just thank you. I think to you more specifically, to the people, y'all heard what I had to say, but just thank you.
Of
Um,
course.
yeah, it was really really cool to kind of think about all of the questions that you asked me. Like a
Yeah.
lot of them, allowed me to like realize, that I the process and things like that, like it really allowed me to like reimagine and re-get into that space or re-enter that space. And so,
Yeah.
I'm feeling good, feeling inspired, feeling ready to work. So thank you for facilitating that conversation,
Of course.
and giving me this vibe.
No, yeah,
Yeah,
always. Thank you just for letting me interview you, really, and just having me to ask you these questions because it goes both ways, you know. So not only you inspired me, I mean, not only like I inspired you, but you inspired me. So it goes 50-50 from both ways. So
right.
much appreciated, you know. So this is Above the Sky. This is
Good.
this episode. Um, this is Above the Sky, season 4, episode 9. Thank you guys for
Yes.
taking the time out of your day. For whoever is gonna make it this far and for whoever is gonna be watching, thank you. No, for real, yeah. Just thank you for just sticking by. That it really does mean a lot. Um, and yeah, man, just like and subscribe. Stay in tune for the next episode, the last episode, episode 10. And spread love always, man. All right. Peace.
Peace.